Well, welcome to the Hope Community Church vlog. My name's Matt. For those of you who don't know me, I lead a church in Wixon called Hope Community Church. And I'm joined today by two friends, Nick and Gayle. So Nick and Gayle, say hi.
Hi.
Hi. Why don't you introduce yourselves to us? Who are you? Tell us about your family, what you do, all that kind of stuff.
Okay, I'll go first. So I'm Gayle. We're obviously married to Nick. We have two girls, aged 9 and 11. We worship at Hope. We've been there now for, I don't know, 8-9 years, something like that. Work in marketing for a pet food company.
Hi, as Gayle wonderfully introduced me, I'm Nick. And I work for Tesco's, and I am the department manager for the fruit and veg section in the store in South Wixon.
Great. Well, nice to meet you. I just thought it'd be great if we could have a little chat about faith and how you guys came to the point that you're at now. You said you've been at Hope Church for about 8-9 years, but you wouldn't always have classed yourselves as churchgoers, as Christians. So maybe tell us what life was like for you guys before you started going to church.
Okay. I think our journey starts with my journey. I guess we've always had some kind of input in our family from a faith-based perspective. Never massive. It was kind of like a carrying the flag on at brownies, parades, that kind of thing, and you went to the church service. And I suppose we first started delving into faith again when we were pregnant with our eldest. And we went to NCT classes, and I think 3 couples there were Christians. Two Christians. And I guess as the journey went along after the children, we'd meet up, the ladies would meet up and we'd chit chat, and I'd hear things that they were talking about Christian faith, and I'd butt in with a question here or there. And then one of them said, "You should do an Alpha course, I'll come with you." And I was thinking, there is no way I am taking you to anything like that. I will just offend you because I might not agree with what you're saying. So that's kind of where it all stemmed from. And then we had a couple of kids groups, I suppose, tots groups, like the tots group at church was one of them, and stay and play. So we went to like 3 or 4, as you do, and it was the same group of people there, and they happened to be talking about whether they were going to church on Sunday one week, and I just thought, I can't believe you go to church, you're just really normal, you're not weird at all. And they're kind of like the people that I wanted to spend time with, which I couldn't work out to start with prior to knowing that, why that was. But yeah, and then kind of got onto an Alpha course, and it all went from there, really.
And just explain what an Alpha course is.
So an Alpha course is a DVD-based study that takes you through different questions that you might raise as somebody that doesn't know much about the faith or anything about the faith. And the one that I was on was over something like 10-12 weeks. And you have a meal at the end or the beginning, and just get to know people and ask all the questions that you want to ask. And there's no judgment, there's no battering you with information. You will become a Christian type thing. You're just free to be yourself and ask the questions you want to ask. And that was really liberating, I think.
Great. And so, Nick, you've got Gayle, she's in tots groups and seems like they're surrounded by Christians and started to go to Alpha. Where are you at in all of this?
Arguing, because it was that's a load of rubbish, is what I thought at the time. And the biggest examples I can give is whereby Gayle, when she was on the Alpha course, would come home and I'd go, "Oh, so what did you talk about this week then?" And Gayle had in a very gracious and calm way, described to me what it was about. And I'd go, "Well, I don't agree with that." And then I'd rant off about, "Well, next week you ask them this question and you ask them that question." And Gayle would go, "Well, why don't you come and you go on the course?" I'm like, "I'm not doing that, I'm not, etc., etc." and Gayle then started to obviously attend church, and I begrudgingly would come along, really just to look after Sophie, who was in one of the obviously the youngest sort of like the tots kind of like groups on a Sunday, and she wasn't that good at the time in terms of being left on her own, so I just tag along really just to look after Sophie. And on the Sunday mornings after the main service, people would come up to me and be really friendly, and would be going, "Hi, how are you? What's your name?" And I just think, who on earth are you? You don't know me. Why are you being so cheerful and asking me questions and wanting to know me? And I would just back off and be very quite offhandish, I suppose. However, looking back, I could see that God really had his hand on me in that, because slowly but surely, as Gayle has described, you start to look around at these people, and as Gayle had said, these are normal people with everyday jobs, but there's something different about them. There's something warm and friendly, and there's a love that comes from them. And even though I didn't understand that, and even though I pushed back to begin with, you can't deny love like that. You can't deny friendship and warmth and a sense of welcome that comes with people who know Jesus. And slowly but surely, God reeled me in, and that was really the start of my journey. I then did an Alpha course, and I'd like to think I've never looked back since. And it was the best thing, certainly, that I've ever done, and I'm sure you would agree as well.
And so it sounds like you're both coming from slightly different perspectives, and it felt like, but you were both drawn to, there's something different about these Christians.
Yeah.
And would you say that was the thing that kind of clinched it for you, or was there a moment that you kind of thought, actually, this is what I want to throw my lot in with? Gayle, do you want to go first?
I don't know whether there was that crash of cymbals moment for me. I think it was just like a dripping tap, not in an annoying way, but it was just, it kind of layered up, I suppose, until I was almost just all in without even realising it. I just started to see God working through my life and the relationships I had, and the situations that I was in that I was finding hard, and I would pray about them. And the group of friends that I met at Alpha, we would support each other in the challenges that came. And it was just like having an extended family that were all fighting on the same page for you. So, yeah.
And for me, it was, two things really. One, people have said that it's belong, believe, behave, and I always thought it was believe, belong, behave. And actually, I know now that people, me having a sense of belonging is so important, and that was wonderful to actually realise that now. Obviously, perhaps not at the time. But the second thing that I would have to say is that when I came to know Jesus, it completely transformed our marriage, I would say. It lifted it from what you thought was like happy and okay to something which was just transformationally amazing, and just gave us that sense of being one as a married couple. And that's probably one of the biggest things I noticed, that it just transformed our marriage.
It's amazing to hear, isn't it, that actually having a relationship, a friendship with Jesus, that does change stuff in real life, doesn't it? Looking back on it, that's kind of 8 years ago, wasn't it? What does Jesus mean to you now? What does your faith mean to you now?
I think it's everything, really. It's the pivot that's at the centre of everything. So I think knowing that there is unconditional love is a big thing for me personally, that I'm accepted for who I am, and God made me as I am, and I may not have it right all the time. But there's a freedom in having almost like a best friend that knows the worst bits about you as well as the best, and that will correct you if you are behaving or doing things in a way that doesn't really align with Jesus, but not in a harsh way either. It's such a gentle love, and it is like a father's love, just guiding you through life, and having that freedom, and also that place to turn to when you're struggling with day-to-day stuff, because being a Christian doesn't mean you don't have issues at work, in friendships, in money, in everything else, and just being able to find that you can go to God and pray about it, and there's an enormous peace that falls, for me personally, in those situations, and when I hand stuff over, it's really freeing.
Again, for me, I think knowing Jesus and having Jesus in my life has brought a real added excitement, and I do get really enthusiastic when something jumps out of me on the page of the Bible, or I don't know, in a song or anything like that. I'm like a puppy, you know. I bounce around a little bit and get excited. And the real second thing is that Gayle spoke about this sort of like freedom, and one of the things is that knowing that you have this freedom because of what God has done for you. It really, going back to the marriage thing, any differences that we do have, which are obviously few and far in between, but they get resolved because we have this peace, we have this openness, and we, you know, I know it's a bit of a cliche, but knowing that we're forgiven, we can quickly sort things out, and that harmony that is with us for most of the time, and we're like any other people, it's not there all the time, but actually it just adds to our life together, and you just become, as God becomes you know, Jesus becomes your best friend. Our friendship has grown, our love for each other has grown, and you know, I can't really kind of like say it any better, really.
Thank you so much, guys. Thanks for joining us. Just before we head off, there are going to be folk who are watching this who maybe are searching or just looking into the things of the Christian faith, or just curious because they know you guys and want to check out this video because you're on it. What would you say to people who are maybe wouldn't call themselves Christians, or who are looking into the Christian faith?
Well, for me, I'm not that good at remembering things out of sermons, but there was one particular sermon that I remember. This phrase kept coming up as part of the sermon, which was "come and see, come and see," and that is one of the best pieces of advice I'd give to the people that you've described. Just come and see.
I think as well, if you can access an Alpha course, then go for it. I think it's better done if you've got people around you that you can ask questions to. But even if you can't, or you're embarrassed and you don't want to go on your own, you know, you can find the Alpha course, I think, on YouTube or online, that you can do in your own living room. I think as well, any of the churches are happy to talk to you about faith and what it means to be a Christian, and what that can bring into your life. So if you're interested, or you just want to find out a bit more, just speak to somebody, or, you know, there's loads of resources online there as well that you can go and find. And
we'd be happy to do one with you.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you so much, Nick and Gayle. Really appreciate your time and being so open with us. If you're watching this, please do check out our social media channels. We're on all those. Search for Hope Church Wigston, or we're on YouTube as well. We live stream our services every Sunday morning at 10:30 a.m. on YouTube and Facebook. So do tune into one of those at any point. And if you have any questions, then do get in touch with us through the social media channels. It's been great to have you with us. Nick and Gayle, thank you so much. And we'll see you all soon.